when we put the deal together, we're going to get a contract. We are always party B in this illustration. With the seller, we're going to get a contract with the seller, and then we're going to sell the contract to the buyer and never take title and essentially get paid to sell the contract and walk away. And to be clear, and this is important for you to have in your notes, when we do an assignment of contract, what we're doing is when we put the property under contract, we're acquiring an equitable interest in the property. And then when we sell the contract, that is what the true value is that equitable interest is what we are selling. The argument in those states where they want you to have a real estate license in order to do assignments is that you are acting as an agent without a license when you do an assignment. They say that, real estate brokerage or brokerage of any kind is when you bring a seller and a buyer together and are paid a commission when there is, a successful outcome, a successful transaction. Well, in the case of an assignment, for as long as I've been in the business, the argument has always been, no, that's not how an assignment works. You're not an agent acting. You're not an agent acting without a license. You went and researched, negotiated the deal with the seller, put it under contract. When you did that, by way of that contract, you acquired an equitable interest in the property. Then you go on your own behalf, on no one else's, you negotiate with a buyer. And the idea is to negotiate as big a spread as far as possible so that you make the greatest profit possible. You are working on no one else's behalf but your own. And then you sell that equitable interest for the spread you created between your purchase price and your sale price to your buyer. And then they go and close with the seller just like that. That is not brokerage, with or without a license. But in a handful of states, Illinois, Ohio, Oklahoma, Arizona, and one other one, Nebraska, some lawmaker sponsored a bill and got enough support and got it passed and made a law out of it. My hypothesis, albeit cynical, is that lawmaker was a sniveling loser who had about $4 in their reelection campaign and had no prospects of reelection. The state real estate board preyed on him or her, saw that they were a sniveling loser, approached them and said, "We will make a ginormous donation to your reelection campaign. If you will please sponsor this bill, and don't worry, you don't need to read it. You don't need to understand it. It doesn't matter. If you want to get reelected, here's some money. Now go and sponsor this bill and push it and get it passed. And oh, by the way, when you do, we'll double the campaign donation. How about that?" And that sniveling loser did that. Now, there's a single word that I would use to describe something like that. Bribery. But sadly, that is how our political system works. Most of the laws that get passed in our country are written by lobbyists and voted on by lawmakers who've never read them, because you got to pass the bill to read what's in the bill and don't really care. They just want the money. Golly. When I describe that, it actually makes me feel like I'm a loser because I'm part of this system.